I had an aggressive goal for running, jogging this year. I ran 74 miles in January and developed a issue with my foot, like plantar fasciitis. So I got this ball. A friend of mine, Ed Jones, who's an amazing athlete, said you get this ball and you roll it around on your foot. I also bought brand new shoes that are the most cushiony shoes that I could find. But doing this, more than anything else, can keep my foot from cramping up. Have you ever had a cramp in your foot? Maybe you're in bed and you get a Charlie horse and your foot's just all crimped up. Well, that's how I felt. It hurt just walking around. And I know today our passage is not about a foot, but it is about a hand. It's about a withered, crimped up hand. And there are no therapy balls or anything like that to help. There's something better. There's an encounter with Jesus. We're on this journey with Jesus, chronologically following him in the Gospels. And today he encounters a man with a withered hand. 3 of the Gospels tell the story. I'm reading out of Luke chapter 6. On another Sabbath, that's significant. It's the Sabbath. He went into the synagogue and was teaching. A man there whose right hand was shriveled. Luke is the only one who mentions it was his right hand. Remember, Luke is a physician. He tends to give details that the other gospel writers don't always give. The right hand at the time they considered your right hand to be your clean hand. The Pharisees and the teachers of the law were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. So they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. Jesus knew what they were thinking. That's verse 8. One time as I was reading through the Gospels, I underlined every time it said Jesus knew what they were thinking. He may have been in a human body, but he is still God. He is omniscient. He could read their minds. He knew what they were thinking. Wondering, would he heal someone on the Sabbath? And so, verse 8, Jesus said to the man with the shriveled hand, "Get up and stand in front of everyone." So he got up and stood there. Jesus could have taken this guy to a back room. Hey, let's step outside. Let me take care of that shriveled hand. Nope. Jesus knew what they were thinking, has them stand up in front of everybody. Hey, stand up in front of the church if you don't mind. So he stands up in front of everyone. And then, verse 9, Jesus said to them, "I ask you, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save a life or to destroy it?" He looked around at them and then said to the man, "Stretch out your hand." He did so, and his hand was completely restored. And the Pharisees and the teachers of the law rejoiced. "We've never seen healing like this before. Wow, what a miracle." That's what they should have said. The Bible says they were furious. They were furious. How do you get furious? A miracle has just been performed in your midst. This hand, his right hand that was shriveled and crippled, had been restored. They were furious because Jesus did it on the Sabbath. He broke one of their man-made rules. I preached on this yesterday, if you were in church. If not, go online, listen to the sermon. I'll talk a little bit about legalism, what it is, and how it even exists sometimes today. Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath, and all they cared about was he broke one of our rules. Well, what exactly does the Bible say? Nowhere does the Bible forbid anyone from healing somebody on the Sabbath. The Bible just said that a person should rest on the Sabbath. Why? So you can worship God. That's all. It doesn't, Jesus said, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath? Of course it is. And he had done good. He had healed a person. Aren't you glad that we have a relationship with God that dictates how we live? That we're not bound by legalism or a bunch of rules that even they could not keep. The rabbis, the Pharisees at the time had come up with 613 different commandments, laws that people must obey. How did they get 613? There are 613 words, 613 letters in the 10 Commandments. And so they then came up with 613 commands, laws to obey that they said they could find in the Torah, first 5 books of the Old Testament. 613. 248 of them were affirmative, 365 were negative. Thou shalt not. And if you broke one of their man-made laws, then you're in trouble. But do you remember what Jesus said when a scribe asked him, what's the greatest commandment? What out of all the law and the prophets, what's the greatest commandment? Do you remember what Jesus said? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. And love your neighbor as yourself. Oh, that's a lot easier. Instead of trying to keep track of a bunch of rules, love God. Love each other. Today, as you live your life, however busy your day might look, why don't you, instead of trying to think of all the do's and don'ts and thou shalt and thou shalt nots, why don't you just focus on 2 things? Loving God with all your heart and loving others. That's all Jesus said you have to do. Love God, love Him, and then love others as yourself. Have a blessed day. We'll see you again tomorrow.